Hey, Beak Squad, David Burns, good to be with you tonight. Thanks so much for joining us on our live stream. Looking forward to 59 minutes of more fun than any beekeeper can tolerate. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Looking through the comments, it's so good to see all of you from all over the place. I recognize some very familiar names. So good to have you. And I want to give a big thanks to Jessica and Sherry for helping out so much tonight, managing everything. We've got a lot of things planned tonight, lot to talk about. I'm going to be giving you some March tips in just a little bit. And in case you're from a different part of the world, it'd be like late winter, early spring type tips, what you should be doing, whether you're just starting out in your with a new bee package or nucleus, or if you're lucky enough to have overwintered some hives. And so I'll be talking about what you should be doing in the month of March. And it's hard to believe that it's already March the 7th. Wow, where's the time going so fast? And we got some cool announcements coming up. A lot of good announcements. You're going to be kind of surprised about some of the announcements that we're going to be sharing. So stay tuned for the announcements. And as always, we've got some good giveaway. I got a good giveaway tonight. It's going to be a different giveaway. You're going to be really pretty excited about it. Got it right here in front of me. Got to be careful not to let it show up on camera yet. How's everybody doing? Are you doing okay tonight? Hope you're all having a great time and looking forward to spring. We're still in that season where our fingers are crossed that spring is going to show up sooner than we hope, and that we don't get disappointed by winter not giving up and just hanging on so long. That's what usually happens with me. So I know some of you are in warmer climates here in the U.S. That spring has already kind of showed some promising signs, and maybe got dandelions everywhere, maybe some swarms already. Swarm traps are up. I envy you. That's great. I'm excited. Looking forward to it immensely. My bees have been flying. It has, today it was like 50, 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So the bees weren't really, there's not much out there. I mean, they're finding a little bit of stuff, not much at all. No dandelions yet. So they're not really flying heavily yet, but they're looking and trying to make a go at it. And I'm excited this year. I'm going to be raising more queens than usual. So I'm looking forward to raising queens. I'm going to be making a lot more videos about queen rearing this year as well. That'd be a lot of fun. I do want to tell you guys, in case you don't know, if you enjoy listening to podcasts, Sherry and I have had a podcast for a long time, for years, well over maybe a decade or so. And I think it's still available. We don't really always add things to it as fast or as soon as we should, but it's out there. It's called Studio B Live Podcast. But I started a new podcast. I have another podcast that I've had for a long time too on beekeeping with my friend Dr. John Zavishlak. It's called Hive Talk. But I started another podcast recently called Mysteries of Honeybees. And this is a new one. I've got about 4 or 5 episodes. And some of these are episodes of the audio of my videos that I make, and some of those are additional podcasts. But you can go on to things like Spotify, Amazon Music, whatever your app is that you listen to podcasts, and you can listen to Mysteries of Honeybees, and you'll see me there, and you can listen to podcasts. That might be good for you guys that you're driving a car and you just want to listen to a podcast or something. Mysteries of Honeybees, check that out. And if you have a what do they call it? The Alexa, I think mine's unplugged and yours is probably listening. But if you have Alexa, you can just say, Alexa, play Mysteries of Honeybees, episode 1 podcast, and you can listen to it. Sorry if I set yours off. I was talking to a friend one time, and we were talking, and he knew I had an Alexa in my room, and he actually ordered a pizza while I was talking to him. Made me mad. What am I going to do with this pizza? So, yeah. So that's fun if you like a podcast while you're driving to listen to things, or got some time on your hands, you can do that as well. So I want to jump into our my presentation tonight. And by the way, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. And all of you are just so great. I'm going to look through the names again. Yeah, I see so many of you that I recognize. Wow. Yeah, that's great. We're going to have time for question and answers too. And I think this is going to generate some questions and answers, March tips. So again, this is going to be late winter or early spring. And I know sometimes we feel, maybe you're listening to me saying, well, David lives in Illinois, so my climate, my temperature is different. Where I live is different than his. That could be, but just make the kind of like the transition in your mind to when is late winter for you? When is early spring for you? So you might be listening, we could only be a week off or a month off, but it still works. The same things still work. And so I want to go through this, and I'll start with those of you um, that are experienced beekeepers, and then I'll talk to all of you that are getting started this spring. So the experienced beekeepers, your overwintered colonies hopefully are looking good. And I want you to be aware that your colony has, you've overwintered, but a couple of things overwintered with you besides your bees. And that is the Varroa destructor mite overwintered as well. Unlike a lot of insects that during the winter, they kind of get, a lot of them get kind of trimmed back from the cold a little bit. Not all insects. A lot of insects, survive winter. But we sometimes think, oh, it was a hard winter, we're going to kill more bugs. And that's not really true with the Varroa destructor. The Varroa destructor rides through the winter in the cluster of your honeybees. They stay warm, and they keep jumping in and trying to reproduce with a little bit of brood that happens in the wintertime. So the Varroa mites will be expanding as your bees grow, as well with small hive beetle. Small hive beetle overwinter in the cluster. I've come out of winter sometimes with a nasty level of small hive beetle, and I live in the harsh climate of Illinois on the prairie where it gets 30 below zero chill factor, and the beetles still just there they are. It's like, I mean, it does help, but boy, it's so you need to be thinking about don't think that everything is going to be clean and sterilized when it comes to Varroa or small hive beetle. They're going to be coming out of winter just like your bees are. If your bees made it, they made it too. So be aware. But the very first thing you need to be thinking about is when to feed. I'm going to be starting feeding my bees really soon now. And I'm going to feed them my 1-to-1 sugar water with my additives, which is amino bee booster, honeybee healthy, some protein powder in there, pollen substitute. And I'm going to start feeding them so I can build up the foragers for when I get my dandelions, when things finally warm up and they're really going out and gathering a lot of nectar. I've done this a few times and have been real successful when the weather's right to actually harvesting a lot of spring honey, like almost a year-end harvest. Now, it doesn't happen all the time because usually I have wet springs and it rains a lot. And so it will cut down on how many days the bees can go flying. But keep in mind that if you can go out there and really do a good job building up your bees by feeding them now, they can raise more bees. And that means you're going to have more foragers or the foraging age when foraging starts. If you don't feed them and you wait for nectar to really be abundant, what's going to happen is your bees will do fine, but it's going to take them longer to raise bees from that nectar to have bees that are foraging. And you might lose out on a big bumper nectar crop because your bees were a little bit down on foragers. And this is really true if your bees came out of winter very small, because they're going to take a little bit more time to pick up. The other thing besides feeding, and I always feed from the top, I have the Burns feeder boards that a lot of you purchase from us, and I like to feed from the top. And that way, if we have cold winter days or spring days that are kind of cold and the bees cluster again briefly overnight, if you feed from the top, they can still keep eating the sugar water. They keep it warm by the heat kind of rising up into that water, and they can still build up. And that's important. Next thing you need to do, and this is not a fun one, but you might be experienced enough to know how to do this, but you got to keep watching for swarm cells. Any colony that overwinters is going to swarm. They have to. I mean, if they're healthy, they're big, they're survived. This is reproduction, people. This is how in the animal kingdom we get more animals, and bees are in the animal kingdom. And when they make it through the winter, they're going to swarm and make another colony. They're going to reproduce. And that means the old queen, along with about half the colony, is going to leave and form their own hive somewhere else. and then your hive, your parent hive back home, will raise new cells of queens, and one queen will become the mother. And so that'd be something that's going to take place in every strong colony. So red alert, swarm detail, everybody. How do you look for swarm cells? The simplest way is to open up your hive and tilt open your deep box, if you have two, for example, and look on the bottom of your frames and see if you see swarm cells. If now, I'll be the first to say this is not nearly 100% proof, because a lot of swarm cells are a little bit higher up and you can't see it unless you pull a frame out. And sometimes that's the case. So to be a really good person, to have a really good eye on your swarm cells, you have to look at every frame and examine it carefully, even move bees around with your fingers a little bit and see if you can detect swarm cells. So what you're wanting to do, those of you that overwintered, you don't want to lose a swarm, you're going to have to cut out those swarm cells and before they mature, and that way they won't swarm, because they just can't produce these swarm cells that they need. They know they can't get a replacement. But that's very intense. That's labor intensive. You're going to have to go out there almost every week and cut down more swarm cells, more swarm cells. You will get tired in cutting swarm cells out. So that is something I don't do. That's just too labor intense for me. I simply go out there and make these, I guess I call them like, they're called splits, but I kind of make it like I want my parent hive to think they have swarmed. So I take the mother queen out with 3 or 4 frames of resources and brood and take it away as a split and make the parent hive raise their own queen. And I'm comfortable doing that. It cuts down on my mites a little bit coming out of winter, but for about 30 days, you won't have any eggs. So I wait until I wait until the swarm season is imminent. It's right there on me to do that. I wouldn't go out there now and do it, for example. I got to wait, because I want my bees to build up and get some brood before I make that split, because I will be out 30 days. Now I could buy a queen. You could buy a queen and put in there if you don't want to miss a beat. You could put queens in there instead of letting them raise their own, and that would speed up brood production as well. So splitting and swarm control, that's what we're all going to be doing. I know a lot of you might be new enough, and this is like, I have so much anxiety about this. I don't know how to split. I don't know how to swarm control. What do I do? What's the easiest way to do swarm control? There is no easy way. There really isn't. People ask me all the time, if I don't want to look at my hive, and if I don't want to make a split, and if I don't want to do the Demarade method, and if I don't want to use a Snell Grove board, if I don't want to use a double, what do they call, double board or whatever, I can't think of the name. If I don't want to use all these techniques and all, what can I do to make it easier? Nothing. There's nothing you can do. Well, you can let them swarm, right? And half of them are going to go off into the trees. I guess that's an easy way. If you live in town, that's not real responsible, because that scares people, and they could go in your neighbor's house or on your neighbor's swing set and hang there and scare everybody. But you could, if you live in the country, you can just let them go to the trees and swarm if you don't want to do anything. But splitting them and making a nuke is kind of fun, and I think it's worth getting your feet wet. If you're not comfortable doing it, just jump in there and try it. I've made a lot of videos on how to make splits and swarms, and we have classes, online courses about this as well in our spring management course. And then another thing you need to do, if with that overwintered colony, as it warms up, you got to give them room to grow, room to bring in resources. That's going to be real critical as well. And then, like I said earlier, you're going to have to deal with your mites and your beetles. They're going to be in there, but and you might be so fortunate to give them supers, honey supers. You need to capture the spring honey that's happening. So be sure and do that. Now, let's talk about those of you that are new beginners. You need to do it this way. Get your new package. Hopefully you've already got it ordered. Your new package of bees, 10,000 bees with a mated queen. That's 3 pounds of bees. And I've got a lot of videos on my channel about how to install them. So look here, I want you to be sure and hear this. Listen close in, lean forward a little bit closer to your computer or your TV. Listen, turn it up a little bit. Here's the deal. You got to have your beehive before your bees arrive. You wouldn't think I'd have to say that, but so many people call us and say, what do I do? I got my bees, but I don't have a beehive. Do you have a beehive? We've had months to get a beehive. Okay. You don't get your bees till spring. So please don't make that mistake. I know times we get busy, we forget things. So double check. Also, make sure the thing's put together. If it's unassembled, wax the frames. I need some water, but I'm okay. Wax your frames so that you can actually have the bees pull out the wax a little faster. I've got a lot of videos on how you can add wax to your foundation and the bees will pull the wax out faster. But you need to get everything ready. Make sure you got a hat and a veil, your smoker fuel, just go through a checklist like a pilot before takeoff. Make sure your flaps are set and all that stuff. You've got to go through all of this, think through it. What do I need to do to install my bees? Once you install them, remember, you need to stay out of there for about 5 to 7 days, let them get acclimated, and then go back in, look and make sure the queen is out of her queen cage and that they're expanding, and then you're off and running. I know you have a lot of questions. You'll have a chance to ask questions here in a little bit. Now, if you actually have installed a nucleus or you're getting a nuke this year, that's about a 5-frame nuke. That's kind of the heart of a hive. It's pretty simple. All you do is take the 5 frames that you get and move them into your 10-frame or 8-frame deep hive body. You just put them in there. You can do it the same day you get them, or you can wait a day. A lot of us prefer waiting a day. And then you're off and running as well. And then you have to treat for mites, beetles, add supers, allow everything to grow as needed. So that's kind of what we're looking at. It's not real complicated in the spring. It just happens all at once. And the bees get excited and they start doing things so heavily all at once that it requires us to kind of be on red alert. So don't panic. Don't freak out. You can do this. First year beekeeper, I have an 8-frame hive. How many drone frames should I use in the brood box and their placement? Thank you for your donation, Holly. I appreciate that tonight. All of your guys' donations are so appreciated. A green drone comb, I would use 1 per deep hive body. I mean, you can get by with 1 in the hive, but 1 per hive body gives you a little more control. But please, using a green drone comb, you got to be sure and follow it carefully. Like take it out about every, I think, 21 days and freeze it, or else you're going to be raising a lot of mites. Thanks, Marianne Livingston, for your super sticker tonight. I appreciate that as well. So lots to do in the spring, and we are excited about all the stuff going on so much. Before we get into our questions tonight, I do want to bring Sherry in. You guys haven't seen Sherry for a minute, so let's bring Sherry in. Hey.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody tonight?
I think everybody's doing good tonight. And I thought I'd bring Sherry in because you have something exciting to share in an upcoming live stream that we're going to be doing.
Oh, we got several things exciting tonight, but David, I want to take a minute and say it's good to see everybody in the chat. I don't think I've been on with you since probably last Christmas. I think it's been that long, and then we saw a lot of people at the convention, and then I got sick for a while. So it's been a little while since I've been able to be on here. So it's nice.
It's good to have you. Everybody's happy to see you.
It's nice to be back. And I love looking at that chat. People are so good about answering each other's questions because there's just no way you can get to all of the questions, and people are so good. But one of my jobs is to keep an eye on it and make sure that no one's giving out bad information.
Oh, wow. You do have a rough job then, don't you?
But I rarely do I have to, and if it's really bad, I'll just have to delete it or something like that. But everybody is so smart and they're so good about sharing. And I just love that.
I know, it's cool.
Everyone's like that. So good job. Good job, everybody.
Good job, everybody. As soon as Sherry came on board, our viewers have gone up. We have 466 people watching now.
I'm sure that's not it. I'm sure.
We are bumping 500. We're going to have a way to break 500 on the viewership, live viewership.
Yeah, cool. That's really
Go ahead.
Cool.
I've interrupted you.
Welcome to everybody. And even those of you that are coming in late, welcome. But the one thing that I wanted to talk about, there's several things we wanted to talk about, but one of them tonight was that our fundraiser is coming up, and we like to do fundraisers to help out other bee organizations that, these aren't businesses. These are organizations that rely on donations to help them. And there's so many fantastic ones. I wish we could help them all, but obviously we can't do that. But we have got a great one that's coming up, David. We are going to have Steve Jimenez on from, where he's at, everybody. He's from Hives for Heroes. And so on the live stream on Thursday, April the 4th, we are going to do a fundraiser for Hives for Heroes. And so right now, I want you to do your research. Don't take my word for it. You go research it yourself. And if you decide to donate that night, all donations that night will go to Hive for Heroes. And Steve will be here with us, and he'll be talking to you about what it is and what they do. And it's a fantastic organization that helps to connect mentors with mentees. So primarily veterans. So we have veterans in our family. My dad's a veteran. Our son's a veteran, and we have a tiny bit of understanding about what some of them go through, when they come back. And this is an organization that helps to connect the veterans back to. It helps them to connect back to the earth. It helps them to connect back to other people. It helps them to. It helps with their well-being. It helps with their health, and all of those things affect mood and stamina and family relationships. And so I am proud to be able to help Hives for Heroes.
Absolutely.
And I know that everybody else, is too. And so the one thing, we'll talk about it even more as we go on. But the one thing I do want to point out is the fact that 100% of your donation will go to Hive for Heroes. So David and I take care of any of the YouTube fees, the credit card fees, live stream fees, whoever wants to take out a fee.
I know.
David and I will cover that. So 100% of your donation will go to Hives for Heroes. So that's April the 4th.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I had a great time with Steve out in Nevada. He was out there with us speaking and all. And oh man, he has so much energy. And ever since we spent some time out in Nevada together, we practically will text each other almost daily about different things. So he's a hoot. So it's going to be great having him and letting him share with our viewership about what he's doing. Some of you are not familiar with the work of Hives for Heroes, but it is really good. So we're privileged to have a way for us to give each of you an avenue to help support this cause. And if you can't, hey, that's fine. We understand. Times are tough out there.
Yeah, it'll be a fun night regardless.
Absolutely.
Doesn't make a difference. We'll have a fun night anyway, because Steve is a fun guy. You put him and David in the same room and look out.
It is. Yeah. It's a known danger. It really is. It is really crazy.
It probably is. It probably is.
Yeah. There's no telling what's going to happen that night. Just he and I being together again, it'd be wild. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be great. It'd be great. So are we ready to make our other announcement?
I think we are, Sherry. Now's a good time to make our other announcement.
Okay. Mark your calendars. Starting the first day of spring, which this year is, do you know, David?
I think it's going to be March 19th.
20, Did you see 21st? The band? March 19th through the 25th is when we have all of our classes, our online classes that go on sale. Now, this is really cool, folks. So our single classes are going to be 50% off. And that's a huge deduction. Our courses, first of all, are probably twice as low as they should be to begin with. They're probably, in other words, they probably should be twice as much, but we wanted to set it to where we thought it would be reasonable and to help people. And so to take another 50% off the single classes, we're going to do that to celebrate the first day of spring. And you guys are so excited about that. You got your bees coming. You're ready for the honey to start coming in. So it's going to be great. But here's another deal. So the ultimate course, which is all the classes together, is going to be $100 off plus a 1-year subscription to one of the world's best beekeeping magazines. Here comes our drum roll. Bee Culture magazine. So if you take the ultimate course, $100 off plus a 1-year subscription to Bee Culture magazine. There is an author in there, somebody who makes a monthly contribution to that magazine, and he is a really cool guy. He is a really neat guy. So you need to check that out.
She's talking about me, but there are a lot.
Dude.
There are other people that write articles on a monthly basis.
Well, I'm thinking of one in particular, but
okay.
But anyway, that's going to be March 19th now. But let's talk about online classes for just a minute, because we want to put a plug on why online classes are really cool. I think it's great if you can do an in-house class. You know, if there's one nearby you and you can go to it, you know, go for it. It's very, very cool. But our classes, you know, you can watch them, you can keep watching them, you can go back and replay something, you can watch it again after your bees get there, and then you're like, oh, I got it now that I see the bees and I actually see them, I understand what's going on. And sometimes people think, well, you know, the Burnses live in the north, so that's not where I live, so you know what, it must not be the same thing. It doesn't work like that. You know, bee inspections and pest and diseases and all those things are the same no matter where you live. So you might have to do a little bit of, you know, pushing your season a few weeks this way, pushing your season a few weeks that way, but it's all the same. It doesn't matter, folks, where you live. It's all the same wherever you are. The great thing too is that sometimes with an in-house class, you can't go back and ask the teacher, you know,
sorry. My bad. I'm pushing the wrong button. Sorry, Sherry.
You are. You're just messing around there. You cannot go back and ask the teacher again about something. They're gone. But with us, you know, we're here all the time, and you can keep asking. So anyway, those are the two things I wanted to talk about tonight. But I think you might have a little announcement for later on.
Do I?
Yeah, about Sunday. About Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks for reminding me of that. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. Wow, that's a lot to share, Sherry. And I think I was looking at some of the comments, and people were complimenting you know, people were saying they enjoyed the classes and they had taken the classes. So our online classes have been out for a long time, maybe you know, since 2016. Maybe it was before COVID that we had our classes online. So we feel like by making them like you said, 50% off on single classes, 100% off on the ultimate class, plus the bee culture for a year. We feel like that's a big help to new beginners and people that are struggling in the spring to get started. So we want to come alongside beekeepers that might be pinching their pennies a little bit, you know, buying equipment and all. That's just our way of showing our love and appreciation for all of you guys as well. You know, Sherry, that we're going to start you know, we talked about including this in the ultimate class too. And this is one of the first magazines that I grabbed when I started beekeeping. It's been around since the 1800s.
Yeah.
And so I gleamed, I sat there and read when I first got my first copy back, I don't know what, in the early 90s, I couldn't believe it. It was just like, wow, I'm learning stuff. So I know magazines may not seem like something people, you know, use anymore, but this is really good. It has very good articles in it. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, I really am.
Yeah. Great.
All right, Sherry. Well, I'm going to let you get back here and dive into all the comments back, but thanks so much for you and Jessica for all that you guys are doing here on the comments. So good to see you, Sherry. Yeah, everybody say bye to Sherry. Bye, Sherry. I wonder, I don't think is my granddaughter Vera here tonight? Have we seen her yet? I was looking through the comments because I wanted to show you guys something. I've got a video of Vera because a lot of you have heard, if you've seen Vera, one of my granddaughters, we have 13 grandchildren, but one of my granddaughters, Vera, likes to watch us. Maybe she's busy tonight, but I have a video that I want to show you. Let me see if I can show you. This is a video of Vera because I think it'd be cute for you guys to watch. Are you ready?
You got it. 1, 2, 3, go! Woo! The side of your hand. Oh, woo!
Oh, there you go. That's Vera, in case you were wondering. And that was quite a hairdo, wasn't it? My hair doesn't do that anymore. It doesn't stick up like that. Oh, that was fun. So, yeah. So tonight I was going to share a few more things with you as time goes on, and I'm excited about a lot of things that we're experiencing with our growth of our channel. We're almost up to 136,000 subscribers. I humbly thank all of you for your support of our channel. Thank you, Stacy, for your super sticker. Appreciate that. That's another example of just your love and your support of our effort in informing beekeepers how to keep healthier bees and make fewer mistakes. So I really appreciate that. I also want to remind our members of my channel. If you want to become a member of my channel, I saw some members here tonight. Thank you, Adam, for your donation. Some members are on with us tonight, and they can be a nectar novice or they can be a Beak Squad ambassador. And a membership is different. It's different than being on B Team 6. You know, it's different than that. But it's a YouTube membership where you just come alongside of me and support me in my video productions and all. Thank you, Brenda. Appreciate that. And so for those of you that are in my membership, we are having a live stream at 2:00 for my YouTube membership this Sunday. So don't forget that. A lot of you should have gotten a notice of that. Eric, thank you for your donation. Oh, wow. You don't have a lot, but here's a little to go to the Hives for Heroes. So Sherry, make a note of that. Well, thanks, Eric. Yeah, I know that everybody, you know, we all work hard for our money, and let's face it, it's times are more challenging than ever, I think. So I appreciate all the sacrifices that you guys make to donate to my channel. Thanks, Jason. Big thank you. So just a reminder, though, for those of you that are part of my membership, Nectar Novice or the Beak Squad ambassadors, you'll be with me a live stream this Sunday at 2:00. So if you're thinking about becoming a member, I think there's information on all of my videos on my channels. You can join up and become a member before then, and you'll be able to be that live stream is going to be just a community of members getting together and sharing. It's a time for me to focus more on in detail to thank them for their helping my channel out and just support them as a community. All right. Well, tonight I want to spend some time answering questions, and we usually give a good 15-20 minutes to answering questions. And then we do have a giveaway coming up. So let's stay tuned for that. So hit me with your best questions. Let's see what I can do tonight on helping you answer some of your questions. Okay. Adam is 2 hours and 15 minutes away from getting his, from when he picks up his nukes. Anything I should know how to help my bees? So Adam, I think I'm glad that you have thought that through. That's it's a little bit of a ride, but not bad. Anytime you ride with bees, I always want all of us should hear this. Anytime you've got bees in your car, truck, or trailer, no matter how far you're going, take protective gear, take a smoker fuel, and a lighter to light your smoker if you need to, gloves. You want to take everything. And you've heard me say this if you've been on my live stream before, but anytime you transport bees, think of the worst case scenario and they all somehow get out, you know, and it spills and bees are everywhere. You want to have everything on you to get out of that big problem. And so that's the first thing, Adam. Take everything that you can think of. Duct tape. Duct tape solves all problems, right? What else do you need? There's duct tape. take duct tape, take a rope. I mean, I've done this I've traveled and transported bees so much. I can't tell you how more comfortable I feel if I have my smoker, my hat, my veil, my suit, smoker fuel, lighters, and duct tape and ropes. And I mean, no, seriously though, you want to make sure they don't fall over. So, and you want to make sure you don't cover them up and make them too hot. On the other hand, if you throw them in the back of the pickup truck and it's kind of cool outside, you don't want to freeze them to death. So think about that. But they need air. Don't try to suffocate them too much. People make the mistake of putting too much covering on both their packages and their nukes. So don't do that. Yeah, those are all good questions. Oh, Stark Lavender became a YouTube member. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I'll see you Sunday at 2. I love the video we did together. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that video, that was really good. Lavender farmer. That's great. Hey, Jessica. Hey, David. We are on Kansas City, Missouri. We are planning a walk-away split. How do I prevent forager from returning to the original hive? $1 million question. If we had an easy solution, if there was just one little sprinkle, some magic dust over this, we would all be so rich. Foragers, we love it that foragers are so good at knowing how to go 3 or 4 miles out, get nectar, and come right exactly back to just their little spot, their little tribe. We love it. It is amazing. But the bad part is they are so good at it that if you move them somewhere else and they go flying, they'll go back to their original spot. So that's the problem. So those of you that are getting packages, don't go away, Jessica. Leave that comment up. I'm going to go on a little trail here. But for those of you getting your first package or nuke this year and you're new to beekeeping, when you install your bees and they take their orientation flight, you can't move the hive anymore. If you don't like it there after a week, you can't move it because the bees will go back to the old spot where they used to go to. They don't really know where their home is. So once you put bees where you want them, they're going to always be there. So in this case, we have a lot of techniques that we use. The old traditional method is, and it works really well, take that split 2 to 3 miles away for 2 weeks and let them get used to that area because they won't know any geographical locations that far away, no landmarks or anything. And then you can bring them back to your place and put them in a new spot after 2 or 3 weeks away because they'll take another new orientation flight. Most of those foragers originally are deceased. So that's the best way to do it, Jessica. But if you can't figure out a way to take them 2 or 3 miles away, you can do something that I try, and I have about a 90% chance of success with that, is that move the split somewhere and put it in a place next to a tree or put something in front of the opening of your split that forces the foragers to take an orientation flight. And like I said, if you do it, kind of really block their entrance where they just can't come out and fly really quick. It can help a lot. They really might stay at the new location. But remember, as soon as they get up high enough in the air, it's not uncommon for a forager to look around and say to herself, oh, I know where I'm at. I know that tree. I know that telephone pole. I'm going to go back to my old house. So taking them 2 or 3 miles away is the best. Really is. A lot of work, but it works. Hello, James. How are you? I have access to free scrap 3/4 inch LP OSB wood. Is it okay to use OSB to make homemade bee boxes? I think so. I mean, I've used it before and I've had no ill effects on that. I've got a lot of mating nooks made out of OSB boards. I mean, so I understand there are chemicals in there. I understand that. And so I can't say 100% that it doesn't affect them. But in all my doings with that, I've never seen that to be a problem. Hi, Sally. Can I store unused candy boards and use it next year? Absolutely, you can. I think where you store it is critical. The best place to store it is in a freezer, just like any food. The candy boards have protein, carbohydrates in it. So you can imagine what's going to happen if they get humidity. But yeah, I think if you could keep them frozen, that would be your best bet. Absolutely. All right. What is our next question tonight? Hey, Eric. When building new hives, would it be good to add a few drops of lemongrass oil in the new hives before installing the bees? We use lemongrass oils or the lemongrass smell to attract swarms. And so putting that in your hive, I understand your theory is that before you put your bees in there, it might help them feel more at home or stay there and all that stuff. It could, but I don't think it's really necessary. It shouldn't be, but it certainly won't hurt anything as far as I see. Might help a little bit. Give it a try and give us a report, Eric. Yeah. Well, I'm adding a second brood box, empty frames below my first full brood box, 90% drawn comb. Is there anything can do to encourage the bees to draw out new comb below? Now you're doing it a little differently. You're doing it the Warray method. Maybe you have a Warray hive. If you don't have a Warray hive and you're not using that approach and you're using Langstroth boxes, most of us put the next box on top. Am I reading that right? Yeah. Yeah. So most of us would put undrawn comb above the drawn area because we see bees have a tendency to go up pretty cool. They go up pretty well. And so, but let's say that you do want to just put it below because that's your thing. Is there anything you can do to help that? You could bait it. You could take one of the frames out of your deep box on top that has open worker brood in it, and you could move it down below even with the queen down there. And that would cause more bees to go down there and start taking care of workers, might cause the queen to start laying down there. We get the bees to move down there. We do the same thing, the opposite. When we have a new box we're adding on top, we bait it by taking one of the frames off the bottom box and moving into the upper empty box. And that's one way to do it. So I'd like to know why you're choosing. You're the first person that has ever heard that without a Warray hive is moving boxes below, but that may just be something you're doing. So that's cool. Good question. Good luck with that. Hey, Johnny, is it possible to overwinter only forager bees and lose the queen in some point between December and now? I opened my first overwintered hive, first year beekeeper, and only saw foragers, but no queen. Boy, that's a good question. I would say if you're seeing foragers, that means the bees are older, right? Foragers are day 23 or older after they emerge. So these forager bees, they're older bees. So if you've lost the queen somewhere along the way, then yeah, you have older bees that are forager bees. And it sounds like you didn't see the queen at all, that you don't have a queen. So it sounds like to me your hive is queenless. I've never really heard it put that way by judging the age of the bees, but certainly in this case, most of us would say I'm queenless. I don't have any brood. We know that all those bees are old, and so it's time for us to put a new queen in there. So Johnny, I hope you can get a new queen. That's a tough time of the year to get a queen, but it sounds like that's what you're going to have to do for sure. Yeah, those bees won't live much longer. I just opened my hive for the first time, and my honey super that I left on for winter is almost full. Do I harvest or add super? This is my first time to overwinter bees. Congratulations. Yay. Overwintered bees for the first time. That's great. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with that honey super. You can leave it if you want to and just add on top of it. If it's above your brood nest area, it's probably not a bad thing to do this time in spring. Give them some food. But certainly if you wanted to, you could harvest it. If it's a nectar flow in your area, if you see flowers and dandelions blooming, yeah, harvest that super, put it right back on, let them fill it up again. So you got a couple options there. You can go either way with it. But congratulations for making it through the winter. Hey, Ronnie, how are you doing? That's a nice looking car. Is that a Mustang? I can't really tell. With the weather getting warmer, do you think it's time to take the candy boards off and start feeding 1-to-1 sugar water? I live in southern Indiana. Southern Indiana makes a difference. Wow, we're getting close. We're getting close. It's worth the risk for me, but I'm experienced beekeeper. So if it doesn't work out, I'm going to go out there and take it off in a hurry. I'll be like, nope, it's getting colder. I'm taking off the 1-to-1 sugar water, putting the winter bee kinds back on. So that's where I am at this time of the year. So I think maybe this weekend it's going to not really the temperatures that I want just yet to start feeding. I need a little bit warmer. I want it to be 50s for several days and no sign of any. Oh, a Camaro. Yeah, that is a Camaro. Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, yeah. Well, don't you love muscle cars? I mean, how can you not love muscle cars like that? Dang. Oh, well, yeah, I would just play it by ear and feed them liquid when they're flying if you can to get them to kind of build up more foragers. When using the demare or demare method, is there a chance that the bees in the top box will turn laying workers since they are so far from the queen? That is usually not the case. Not the case. And the reason is because the bees are still connected to the pheromone. They're still passing through queen excluders. It's still enough pheromones in that entirety of the hive, and brood pheromone and queen pheromone. So it's not just the queen pheromone, but it's also brood pheromone. So no, you're not going to get laying workers. Not at all. I wouldn't worry about that. Good question though, for sure. I don't know whether to say demare or demare. Most people say demare, but he was from Kentucky. Is that a French name? Demare, demare. Yeah. All right. What other kind of questions do you have for me tonight? James asked, have you used linseed oil on boxes for sealing? Yes, I have. It's kind of cool. It kind of is a natural thing to do. Let it air out good after you do it. Just do the outside of it. Any time that you're preserving the your box, other than wax dipping boxes, you only apply it to the outside, whether it's paint or some kind of natural sealant of some sort. You want to do it only on the outside. Don't paint the inside of your boxes. Bees are kind of annoyed if you start painting the inside. They like to propolize the inside. They like that raw wood on the inside. But yeah, you can try different things. A lot of people have even used varnish, and I've varnished some hives before, but the trick to that is you really do want it to dry out really good for a couple of weeks. I think you want all that smell and all that vapor to be completely gone and be done with it. By the way, I've found that, and when I started beekeeping in the old days, everybody used oil-based paint. Remember that oil-based paint? Because, we thought it would make our hives last longer. It was just oil-based paint. It was just so messy. Maybe that's all there was. And it was just terrible. You take gasoline to get it off your hands or something. But then, and what was bad about bee boxes, the oil-based paint would so seal off the outside of the box that the moisture from inside the hive could actually cause the box to rot after a long time from the inside, because it, wood boxes need to breathe. Latex was a great invention. Latex paint. It still seals good, but it allows boxes to breathe. That's cool. Edward, I'm going to purchase queens this year. How long before receiving them should I do my splits? Thanks for all you do. If you're going to make a split, you need to have your queens on hand. That way you know that they were correctly shipped to you. They weren't delayed. They didn't die in shipment. So when you make your splits, you'll have your queens on hand. That's the way I do it. Thank you for your super sticker. I appreciate that. A beautiful scene there of on a horse. Next, it looks like out west. Wow, it's beautiful. So yeah, get your queen in your hand. That goes for all of us. Anytime you have a queen replacement, get your queen on your property. Make sure she's alive when you receive her, if she's being shipped to you, before you kill your other queen or replace a queen. Make sure your new queen is on board. Absolutely. All right. And they're feverishly looking through questions. Yeah. A lot of different ways to make splits too. I know a lot of you are concerned about that. Am I required to register my beehive location? Depends on where you live, James. I'm not sure what state you're in. Many states, not all, many states do have an apiary program, an inspection program, and it is required that, like, for example, I live in Illinois, so I have to have my hives registered with the Department of Ag. Doesn't cost anything. I just send in a little thing, says this is how many bees I have on this bee's property, whatever. And it is required in Illinois. So I would check with your Department of Ag or your Department of Natural Resources or your home extension, whatever it's called. Check with all those different places that know about bees. Find out if it is something that's required. Yep. Usually it doesn't cost, and it's not a bad thing. It's just a way that inspectors can make sure you don't have any your bees don't have contagious diseases that could affect the whole state. Good question. Yeah. Arkansas does as well. Yep. Many states do have inspection programs for sure. Of course, we sell nucleuses, and our nukes have to be the hives that we take our nukes out of. They all have to be inspected, moving permits, all that stuff. No, there's never a stupid question. Going to do a demarré split. If I found queen cells that are capped, can I save them, or do I have to remove and kill them? Kind of kills me to do that. Yeah, I would never destroy a queen cell. If I find one, I'm going to find a home for that queen cell, or I'm going to make a home for that queen cell. Absolutely. All you need is one frame and a cup of bees and a queen cell. That thing will be a hive in no time in the spring. I've done that before. I've actually taken a cup of bees and gave them a queen cell, and they turned out to be a real strong hive. So yeah, I would. You don't have to kill them. Find a home for them, move them over, save them. Absolutely. I've been known to keep them in the house even until they hatch. You can kind of walk around with them on day 13 or later, and I've had some hatch on our kitchen table and walk around on the kitchen table. Yeah, they get noisy sometimes. I've had queens I've had queens in little queen cages in our bedroom before at night on the dresser. You empty out your pockets like I do, and I'm like that kid. You got a quarter, you got a worm in your pockets, you got a bunch of queens in your pocket, and they're noisy at night. Sherry's like, get those queens out of our bedroom. They're loud. It's funny. What else you got to talk about on questions tonight? Oh, we're running through the time tonight. Time goes so fast. Thanks, David Moore, for your super sticker tonight. Appreciate your donations. Always goes to help so much for us to keep the live streams going, pay for our internet, and to be able to give things away during the live stream. So thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it so much. Maybe this is a good time oh no, we're too close to 496 people watching. We're so close to 500. It fluctuates. Oh, there it is. 500. Whoa. All right. 500 people watching. Where do those fireworks come from? Wow. Oh, we dropped to 494. That's great. Well, this is going to be a great year for live stream. Things really pick up on all beekeeping channels and live streams once spring gets here. So I'm glad I happened to look up and see that. I'm going to sleep so happy tonight. But yeah, let's go ahead and have a giveaway tonight. Where did my giveaway screen go? Well, I have to find it again. So tonight we have a special giveaway. It's the unique giveaway. I heard a noise. That's a train. I thought it was a siren. All right, let me set this up. I had it set up and it went away, but it just take me a second here. Beekeeping March tips. All right, here we go. Tonight we're going to have a free giveaway, and it's going to be a year subscription to Bee Culture magazine. You're going to really like this. I started with this when I first started beekeeping. So what you're going to do is leave this. You're going to leave the word Bee Culture in the comment, hashtag Bee Culture. Let me get this set up before you start typing away here. All right, Bee Cultures, hashtag Bee Culture. Okay, start collecting comments. There you go. Let me show that, show you what it looks like. I'll share my screen here. Share screen. Okay. Ooh, got too many screens open. Giveaway. Nope, not that one. Here it is. All right. So there we go. So yeah, just type in hashtag Bee Culture. Bee Culture magazine is what we're going to be in, but all lowercase. Yep, you got it. I see it showing up. And there are some really good articles. All the articles are great. And some of those are just, when I was starting beekeeping, they were life-saving for me to read this. And I do write for this magazine every month. In fact, this is my article here at the top, and it says, "Why do beekeepers give up?" And so it's connected with a little QR code in the article to always watch one of my videos too. So good thing to, wow, a lot of people love getting bee culture, huh? Look at that. 217 people are hoping to get this magazine. It's out of Ohio. Jerry Hayes is the editor, and I've known Jerry Hayes forever. And many of you have too. Jerry Hayes is just a solid guy in beekeeping, really is. And I've talked to Jerry many times on the phone, had conversations with Jerry, about my writing and such. But I love bee culture. Like I said, it's been around since the 1800s. You can go online and read those old 1800 copies of Bee Culture magazine. It's a lot of fun. Okay, well, 242 people. Wow. Still at 495 people watching. Thank you so much, guys. It's very humbling and exciting. So I appreciate it. All right, you want it to go some more, Sherry? Let them keep trying. Oh, Sherry says nope. Let's roll it and see who wins tonight. Are you ready? All right, here we go. All right, who's going to win a year's subscription to Bee Culture magazine? Who's it going to be? There you go. Morga Horse won. All right. So email longlanehoneybees@gmail.com. You're going to have to allow this. Bee culture takes a little bit to get started, but once we get you signed up and all, you'll start receiving those. So allow 6 to 8 weeks for the subscription to start. Wow. Good job. That's a little bit different tonight, isn't it? Different kind of giveaway tonight. So congratulations. Good job. All right. Let's see. We have 3 minutes left for any final closing comments. So everything is going, I think I checked off all the things I was supposed to say tonight. Okay. Freedom Apiaries, Pat, started last year, made a huge mistake and lost all my hives. Lesson learned, starting over March the 30th with 3 packages in Eastern Tennessee. Eastern Tennessee. Been reading a lot on single versus double managements. Your thoughts? Well, in 2 minutes, my thoughts are both work very well. They can, and especially in Eastern Tennessee, you can get by with both. So it's going to be a preference, going to be just your skill set. And I think you can make either one of those work very nicely, up to you. I've made both of them work. I do prefer doubles. To be honest with you, here's my secret reason why I'd rather have 2 deeps, because I've always done it that way. Womp, womp. I know that's a disappointment. I've always done 2 deeps. I'm so used to it. But I'm going to get into more single deeps this year. Yeah, but both will work. Do you have feeder boards in stock right now? Absolutely, we do. We never run out of feeder boards. Not anymore. We don't. We overcame that problem. And with winter bee kinds, we don't run out of winter bee kinds anymore either. Took us a few years to finally get that accomplished. All right. Well, that's all the time we have tonight for comments. I want to thank you all so much for being here. 500 of you. We topped 500, was just awesome. And I missed the anniversary. We've had our live stream for over 1 year now. And I appreciate that. All of you making this live stream possible for over a year. And it's hard to believe. I want to thank Jessica. I don't know how Jessica and Sherry always carve out every Thursday night like the rest of you do. And I appreciate you guys for doing that. It means a lot to me. As always, you guys are the best. Beak Squad members are the best. You guys are sharp. You're learning about bees. So many of you are new to beekeeping, and I'm glad that you're a part of our channel, because I really do want to help you grow and make good decisions on your bees, keep healthier bees. So important. So important. So I love you guys so much. And remember, whatever you do in beekeeping or in life, let's stay positive. There's a lot of bad stuff going on in the world, a lot of hardships, a lot of heartache. I know it is. And maybe you're going through some tonight, but look, let's have our chin up a bit and let's be happy about life. Let's be positive, because we're all in this together. We're all humans. We're all like the colony, we're all working for the same reason. And again, as I've always said, if we can learn to love others and serve other people, support and encourage each other, we really start to live a fulfilled life. So don't go it alone, and don't try to always be outdoing people. We're not in a race. We're not in competition. If we can lock arms and go through everything side by side and support one another, whew, so much better. Thank you all for being here tonight, and appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing you guys in all my upcoming future videos, and looking forward to seeing you on our next live stream. Don't forget, we've got Steve Jimenez coming up next week on the live stream, and he's going to be here to talk about hives for heroes. Good night, everybody. See ya.